Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going through the recent RLCS 1v1 event that has happened over the past weekend and the previous weekend as well. I got finished playing it yesterday and we finished, of course, massive spoilers in this video. If you guys don't want to be spoiled, click off the video. We finished in 8th place. We ended up losing to nass, which we'll get on to later in the video. We're going to be talking about all of our matches. We're going to be discussing some of the other matches that have been played, some of the other upsets. And today is actually the last day of this event at the time of recording this and posting this. We are watch partying the event. If you guys are watching this as it just goes out, be sure to come over on my Twitch to watch the rest of the event with me. But we're going to be talking about all our matchups. We'll quickly go through the qualifier. If you guys don't know how this works, it's basically like a 3v3 regional. Okay, so in the first stage, you have, a massive qualifier. You go through some lower ranked opponents, like kind of champ players and around that level. And then you work your way up towards SSL players and eventually get onto a pro level day 3 of the tournament, which is a Swiss stage to qualify for the actual main event. Now, that was last weekend. In our first round, we were meant to be playing Mala, an Italian RLCS player. He actually forfeited. He forfeited, I think, against everyone that day, and we took the win there. We then played against Purposa, who I think is a Dutch player. I want to say he's a kind of a 1v1 main, basically. It's his main game mode, and we ended up taking that 3-1 smooth series all round. We ended up playing, who was it? It was Atow, and we did lose that in game 5, and we lost against Juicy in game 5 as well the following round. So we had some pretty tough kind of couple of rounds, but obviously rounds you want to be winning if you want to go 3-0 or 3-1 in that qualifier stage. And we ended up playing a German player, kind of an unknown player in a lot of people's eyes, called Heisenberg in the last round. So we did end up sweeping him, but yeah, it's cool to see some new players kind of coming into the top 1v1 scene, and we'll see what these new players can do in the future. But we do qualify for the main event 3-2, and that is top 16 in Europe, which we started playing a few days ago on Friday. Now, we had our first round against Mawkzy because obviously we finished 3-2. It's not the greatest scoreline overall in the qualifier, and Mawkzy went 3-0 in his qualifier run. So we played him first round. Quite a tough first round matchup, but of course, like I said, it's just down to seeding. It's just down to your records. And we ended up losing that match 3-1. He went up 2-0 in the series. I took a game and he finished it off. It wasn't, in all honesty, it wasn't all too close. 3-1 scorelines, it can be a close series, it can be a not so close series. It was a 3-1 where it wasn't actually that close. And the games that he won were pretty convincing. I did get a win, but he looked really good. He played a extremely aggressive play style, extremely good kickoffs. And when Mawkzy has good kickoffs in his game, very, very tough to get the ball off because of his play style. It's very, very annoying to play against. So he played really well in that series, took that 3-1 and knocks us down to the lower bracket. Now, it's double elimination. So if you lose one more time, you're just out of the tournament. We actually end up playing against our teammate Stizzy, who doesn't play all too much ones. He's a very mechanical player. So of course, I knew I had to be, focused. I knew I had to be playing well in order to beat him. But he was, obviously not a ones player. So we do end up sweeping him. It wasn't, we were pretty much in control of the whole series. We were playing pretty well mechanically. We were playing well in decisions. And, we end up moving on to the following series in the top 12, which is the one you're watching right now. This is against Toxiic. Now, Toxic's a player that is extremely quick, very, very aggressive when he's feeling good, and very good, honestly, when he's on his game. So this was a series where it was I'd say it was quite close. It was a 3-1 to me. You'll see in the last game that was played here, but it was close. I know I had wanted to kind of switch up the kickoffs because his kickoff is very good. As you see on screen, we go for a delayed kickoff there to try and get some mix-ups in. But yeah, his kickoff's extremely good. We wanted to make sure we keep him guessing. This was a close series. He had a lot of kickoff wins in kind of the latter half of the series and was extremely good on these kind of close situations, getting some awkward bumps, awkward challenges. And he came out with the possession in a lot of these So very frustrating series. I was streaming all these games live on my Twitch this weekend, and this was probably the most infuriating series that we had. Ended up touching that ball a little too hard for the open net on the counter attack, but of course I'm trying to avoid the demo as well behind. But 5-5 with a minute 30 in the last game. We really don't want to make it a game 5 here, because we do go up 2-0 in the series. We don't want to give him that momentum. He did take a game in game number 3. We go for a hook shot, and he does save it. Thinking about going for the demo behind him, but he doesn't actually go down this the path that I thought he would go down. And we do end up taking this series, like I said. And in the following series, we play against Juicy. Now, Juicy is on a really, really good kind of streak in ones. He's playing extremely well in ranked. We played him the previous weekend and got reverse swept by him, unfortunately, in the 2-1 round, like I said before earlier on in this video. He was playing extremely good, and he continues to play really well. This was just a seeding match, so it's not the end of the world, like I always say in, you know, the 3s RLCS. But you still want to win. You're still trying to win, of course. But we do lose 3-1 to him. It was actually a pretty good series. I thought that was actually quite high level. And we move on to top 8 regardless. If we do beat Juicy, we would have played Jorius, actually my other teammate. Would have played both my teammates in the ones tournament if we beat Juicy there. But because we don't, we play against Nass, who is obviously, before the tournament, going into it as a favorite. Now, he does drop a series against Drali at a certain point in this tournament, which forces him to that lower bracket where he ends up playing me in the top 8 stage. But he's still going to be, you know, an absolutely insane player and very, very tough to beat. I go for the flip reset straight away there, because I was absolutely sure he was challenging me off the ceiling there, but he does a ceiling fake challenge basically, and kind of baits me to use my reset there early. But 8 seconds left. This is a position where, you know, your opponent is extremely awkward. They're trying to keep the ball very close because obviously there's not much time left. But you can get massive dunks when they're about to go down the wall into a catch, and I just figured that I should challenge in that spot, and we get the dunk on the other end. Don't think we actually needed to touch that ball for it to go in anyway. But 7-7, 3 seconds left. Obviously, we're looking at, you know, trying to get a kickoff win here. Actually doesn't go my way. He gets a quick flick, but we do just avoid the bump and get the save. Not sure if it was in, even if he bumped me. I think it might have been hitting post and down before it goes in. I think he was definitely on target at least. Bad kickoff to open up the overtime. He luckily can't reach it. And then from here, I'm just like, let's just play aggressive, because people really turtle up in these overtime situations. Have to cover high there to avoid to cover the first flick, and then go low last second. Again, staying aggressive on the challenge. We're forcing a touch out of him, and he does our own goal. Obviously, from this position, he is trying to hit it across the net, hit it off the, even maybe hit it off his near post of the backboard to get a touch, you know, but obviously not that touch. I'm blocking some of the angles with trying to get a dunk here, but I actually could have been closer. I was quite far away, blocking not too much there. But we do get the win anyway, and we move on to the top 8. Okay, top 8 match versus Nass. Of course, going into the series, Nass is the best 1v1 player in the world in terms of tournament results over the past kind of couple of years. So, going to be very tough. But I'm actually kind of confident against him. I beat him the last time I played him in tournament. So, going into it, I was actually pretty happy with this matchup result. In fact, if I beat Juicy in the seeding match, I played Jorius, which on paper is a easier match, but I actually haven't beaten Jorius in a ones match in a very long time. This is game 3 of this series. We actually take the first 2 games quite comfortably. The first game was close. The second game was fairly comfortable. So this is a really good start to this third game to go 3-0 up in this best of 7. We're up 2-0. We're playing extremely well in these first kind of few games. Some of the best 1v1 I've actually played ever, really, in all honesty, in the start of the series. Just perfectly on with every type of attack, and decisions on defense were great as well. Hitting everything, as we see another goal. Unfortunately, we take this game, we get reverse swept in the series. So it was a massive disappointment for me personally. A really big kind of, you know, swing in momentum, and I couldn't end up stopping him on the following 4 games, which was very frustrating. But you win some, you lose some, you have to move on from it, unfortunately. He ended up playing extremely aggressive for the kind of second half of the series, and I just didn't adapt to it. I just thought that in some of the situations where he was playing aggressive, I was like, you know, he won't do it again kind of thing, and I just kept on getting caught out. So it was a bit of a blunder, unfortunately, but 5-0 up in this game, still looking good, and you know, 4 minutes left. You're very comfortable in this situation. We'll look at the last game after this one. I'll probably watch most of this game and then move on to the last game of the series, and we'll see a little bit of the difference and watch, you know, how that goes. Does get a massive dunk on me here to open up the scoring for him. 5-1 with 3 minutes 40. Still a comfortable spot. With Nass, you do have to be careful about giving him kind of too much space. When he has space, he can go into the air, and he's not, you know, like in terms of this was so annoying, by the way. This flick, I obviously was pre-jumping, you know, like a harder flick, and the softer flick actually was better there. But what I was saying, you know, Nass's kind of mechanics and his attacks are very, very clinical. You know, they're not like insanely like peak mechanical. Like there's going to be players that have, you know, absolutely crazier peak mechanics, but in terms of like, you know, the consistency in the shots he's putting on target, he's really, really consistent in that stuff, and very difficult to stop. So you don't want to give him too much space. You always want to be kind of sticking close, in my opinion, because when he can go in the air, he can then go for a lot of fakes and stuff like that. I do know that he's going for the edge or bump there because he slows the ball down, and he's quite you know, straight on with his angle behind the ball I'm hiding, and so edge or bumps are quite likely in that position. So I just have to kind of match his speed and basically predict that he's going for the edge or bump there for the 6th goal for me. He does end up going for that, which is quite aggressive. He actually predicts that I'm going for that boost. I was trying to take the ball back to go for the boost, and he gets it in time. I do get a lucky spawning on the same side, but he does go underneath me and can get the open net on the other end. 6-3. Still looking pretty comfortable winning kickoffs. 2 minutes 30 left in the game. We go for another air dribble bump. That's probably my like 7th of the game, or 7th of the series, sorry. And we're hitting like every single one right now. It's something that I don't think I actually carried on doing in the rest of the series. I don't think I actually went for many more, you know, air dribble bumps for some reason later in the series, which was a big mistake. Ceiling shot, bang, far post, 8-3. And we're looking at a pretty comfortable rest of the game. We're going to skim through. He does get a goal here with a very nice, like I said, you don't want to give him too much space. He goes for a really nice musty. I do know he's going for it, but I just can't quite reach it. I was quite annoyed with that one because if I get any type of save, we score on the other end. Luckily, kickoff goal right back. He makes a big mistake on the goal line there. He's obviously trying to keep the ball close. We get a ceiling challenge for the 10th goal. And at this point, I think our 11th goal, he calls a forfeit here. And we move on to game number 4. He does take the next 3 games, and we're going to skip onto game 7 and watch that through. Okay, game 7. This is where it comes down to. You win, you move on to top 6, you lose, you're out. Dude, that first touch, I was so frustrated about to open up the game because the ball kind of like bobbled off the wall, and I just didn't react to it. Unfortunately, the nerves are on for everyone here. This is a very nervy start to the game. Could have actually scored this if I just jump and flip into it earlier, but taking a bit too much time, he does get back to it. So you can see a little bit of, or a lot of lower level in a game 7 compared to the start of the series. That's just how it goes. Do get a really nice save on the edge of a bump. Actually getting slightly touched through that, but we do, you know, kind of get, not lucky, but it's just how that kind of happens. A little bit of luck to not get bumped there, I guess. Do get the demo and the counter attack. The shot, it's a really nice save by Nass. It's a really good prediction. Yeah, in situations like these, he started to just kind of dive every time. And I at the start of the series, I was very, very good at kind of backflipping in a situation like this, just to get an awkward touch around him. And that's definitely the takeaway of the series. I kind of got way too like passive with my kind of transitions out of offense into the midfield, and just stopped getting those like awkward touches, which was really winning me the series earlier on, or getting me the possession and then eventually winning me the series because I was scoring my chances. So that was definitely the main issue in the kind of later stage of this series. Nass does actually kind of mess up his recovery, I want to say here. Yep, okay, I didn't see it that bad. That's the first time I'm looking at that. So a lot of nerves at play here, like I said. 1-1, we do take the open net on the other end on the counter-attack. And feeling okay, you know, in this game so far. The kickoffs are pretty even. This was insane. Obviously, it's not going to show it in the replay, but it's one of those bumps where your car on your screen can't decide which way it's turning. And that's just, you know, it's just unfortunate. I don't think I'd be recovering either way, but I might have been at least a little bit closer than I was to getting that. But 2-1, he does get a kickoff goal. We get the kickoff win right back, go for his corner boost. I know he's on low boost here. I was quite annoyed at that play, you know, that I didn't, you know, just backflip after his touch. But we do get a drive-through challenge there for 2-2. Somehow that ball goes in. I'm going to show this. Look at that. Yep. I'll take it. 2-2, 3 minutes 30. Like I said, feeling okay. The game's close. The game's close, and you don't want to be, you know, you don't want to let the other person kind of run away from it, obviously, but it's really important in a last game situation. His defense got a lot better. My shot selection was a little poor. And yeah, like I said, he was starting to close the space down a lot coming out of his defense. He's on 0 boost here. I know he is. So I just have to cover his shot. I have an open net. I just miss it, unfortunately. That's a big mistake in a game 7. You want to be taking that. Bit annoyed by the camera spam, as you can see there. But coming to 3 minutes, we just avoid the demo there, which was quite lucky because you can get demoed through those types of challenges. And this is awkward. We're on 0 boost. We're just trying to speed the ball up so we can give a bit of space to get this boost. Don't want to be keeping the ball all too close there because you can just get a really bad 50. He does take it back. We get the corner and we're just trying to keep that kind of space closed down a little bit. Maybe look to get a bit more aggressive. But yeah, balls like this where I just wasn't expecting the challenge. And it happened over and over again, unfortunately, in the second half of the series. And I just wasn't responding to it well at all. I wasn't respecting, you know, the early challenges and the kind of just straight up challenges straight into the ball. And I just wasn't reacting to them. Unfortunately, that's where it cost me one of the main mistakes. We do try and get a little bit more aggressive. Again, another early challenge that I'm thinking that my car being there is enough to kind of put him off. And unfortunately kept making the same mistake there. So something that I'll have to take away into the next kind of 1v1 series that I play. Thought an early challenge would come through here, but then he fakes it. So he's doing well with mixing up his challenges. He's playing a lot smarter in this game so far on some of his challenges. And I kind of turn a little bit too early there. Give him a 2-goal lead with 2 minutes left. 4-2. Still feeling, you know, okay in the game. A couple of things have gone wrong in the last, 2 minutes or minute and a half or so. But overall, it's still fairly back and forth. Try and take a long shot there, but a little bit of a scuffed kind of turn onto the hit. 4-2 with a minute 45. We are going to have to close this space down somehow. Do get the save and open that. We take it. Perfect. Minute 30 and it's 4-3. Very, very close. Obviously, we all know the end result. We end up losing this game, but it is close. We have our chances. We have our, things that we should be taking every now and then. We have a bit of space here. Can't remember if we score from here. No, he gets in an early challenge again. Stuff like this. Just got to be taking a long shot. You have to be kind of pressuring your opponent to go back a bit, respecting the long shots a bit. Wasn't doing that at all. We do get an edge or a bump with the space that we get given. And 4-4 with minute 15. I think... No, it's not. I was going to say, I think this is a kickoff win, but with a wave dash, he does get the win and he gets the air dribble into the flip set too. We just get the save, get a touch back to get space. I thought he'd early challenge there, and the couple of times where I'm thinking he's early challenging, he's actually faking. This actually isn't a bad. This is a very good kind of position to be in though, so it's not the end of the world. I commit a little bit too much for that play, and it ends up giving him possession and in a spot where he can wait for that boost. But we're trying to close the space down finally, and we do manage to. We make him back off and give me space here, but the touch isn't great, so we have to go for the bump. We do get the bump. Obviously, this first touch isn't exactly what you want. You want to be hitting it a little bit higher, getting on top of your car. But it does go in front of him. Oh, sorry, in front of me. And we do get the bump in the end. 4-5. or 5-4 to me even, with 36 seconds left. A position we should be closing out, but he does get the kickoff win, and he gets really fast up to this ball. I was actually very surprised. I really thought I'd have a little bit more time. He saves 12 boosts off the kickoff, which I actually want to see. He must have saved the pad at the end. Yeah, okay, so he doesn't use 12 boosts to do the kickoff. He doesn't use it at all on his flick, and that allows him to get up really fast to that ball. So that's honestly just a good play after the kickoff. The kickoff, itself could have been a little bit better by me. But it wasn't, the absolute worst. It's just one of those where you lose. This was very tilting to concede that boost, because that, unfortunately, we'll see is kind of the difference maker in the end of this game here. With 16 seconds, you don't have much boost. You're trying to cling on. I do a good challenge here to play the fake and the shot. But with 8 seconds left, he does get the demo. So this was a very annoying goal to concede to end the series, because I knew as I made the mistake, unfortunately, that I knew I was kind of making a mistake here as I did it. I should have either just double jumped and tried to pinch it around him to force, the ball going out wide. I might have to defend another kind of attack from there if I do that, but it's at least better than giving up the demo. I think in the moment, I was also thinking of trying to just, fake going up the wall. That's probably the best situation, because he's going for this, very fast demo attempt regardless. So if I fake, stay on the ground, probably the best play. But unfortunately, in the high pressure situation, when it comes down to it, I make a mistake, and we do concede a goal on the demo. So it's a good play by him. Bad mistake by me to give it up. But yeah, it was off that kickoff where we didn't get the corner boost that kind of sealed our fate there. We tried to go for a delayed style of kickoff, and unfortunately the ball drops, which I don't know why it's showing 1 second left on the timer. That's obviously a bit of a bug in the game, but it did drop. I knew as soon as this kickoff happened, it just wasn't going to stay up. I think going for a delayed wave dash kickoff, the ball kind of stays on the ground in these style of kickoffs. So in hindsight, it's probably not the best. You probably just have to go for a straight win. And actually looking back at it, does he double jump? He single jumps. He just gets smacked in the air from mine. So that wouldn't have happened if I just go for a straight win. But if I hook the kickoff, probably just the best chance I have there. But unfortunately, we do drop the game 7 and get reverse swept out of the tournament. So bit of a painful loss. Top 8 we finish up. But still, overall, I was actually pretty happy with the level in the tournament. It was a good tournament overall, a very fun tournament for the first kind of RLCS 1v1. Only one person goes through, so it's extremely hard to go through. You have to win the entire event against a lot of good players. So it was a decent run overall. Would have liked to take the series, of course. Would have been a very good win over nass, kind of the tournament favorite going into it. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen this time. But you got to take the positives away from it, the negatives as well to improve on. But the positives is that in this one's tournament, it's actually a better placement, than the last one's tournament that I played. The last big one's tournament was, I think, Salt Mine, and I think it was 8 players qualified for that, and I actually didn't qualify, so I wasn't top 8 in Europe in that event, and I was in this one. So positives to be taken away from. I feel like I'm actually playing super well in ones recently, so I'm pretty happy with the level overall, and we'll have to fix some mistakes, work on it, and come back next year actually for RLCS 1s, because that is it for this year. It's only one person goes through from Europe, one person goes through from South America. They play each other at LAN, and then the winner of that goes to Worlds against the winner of NA versus MENA. So it's not a massive circuit in terms of matches played and how many tournaments are happening over the course of the season. So hopefully next season I'd like to see a league play format actually in RLCS 1s. I think that could work super well in terms of coming back every week to play one match. Gives you a bit of prep time for each player, gives them more games to stream. And I think it'll be responded pretty well to overall in the community. So I'd like to see maybe something like that. It could work pretty well. But for now, we're going to be watch partying the rest of the event, all the one series at Worlds and whatnot. If we're not playing, I'll be watching. And yeah, that is the end of this video. If you guys have enjoyed this little recap, let me know. I'm not sure if you guys do enjoy them massively. Figured I would do this one just to get kind of a video out about this one's tournament, because I do think that this is an absolutely amazing thing that Epic are doing. getting ones included in RLCS. I think it's a long time coming. So yeah, absolutely fantastic that we finally have it. So I wanted to get a video out on it regardless. But if you have enjoyed, make sure you drop a like, drop a sub to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.